Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. October is here, which means Halloween will soon be upon us. So it's time to talk about a scary cartoon character, Garfield. Yeah, I know Garfield is usually associated with humor, but from time to time, the fat cat was able to scare us. There are plenty of examples to choose from, but the most talked about are Primal Self and Garfield Alone, both of which are very unsettling stories about Garfield. Unlike Garfield's Halloween adventure, neither Primal Self or Garfield Alone are meant to be funny. They are intended to be scary. In today's video, I'm going to go over each story and determine which is scarier, Primal Self or Garfield Alone. So grab your blanket as I take a look at these scary Garfield stories. So without further ado, let's begin. Released on October 12, 1984, Garfield His 9 Lives proved to be a different kind of Garfield book. It contained 9 different stories that depict what Garfield was like during each of his 9 lives. The story everyone talks about is life number 7, Primal Self. Jim Davis wrote the story, but the illustrations were provided by Jim Clements, Gary Barker, and Larry Fentz. I don't know if I said that correctly. It starts off with Garfield, or Tigger as he's called in this story, sleeping in his bed. It's drawn more realistically than Garfield is normally drawn. He does look cute in that bed with the mouse toy. Then we see him get up to take a drink of water from his water dish. Nothing too bad. It's all very innocent enough, until you get to the next panel. A ghostly or demonic claw appears out of the water dish as Tigger walks away. This image alone is pretty disturbing. What is it, and what does it want? Then we see Tigger look at a childlike drawing of a cat with the word kitty written under it. There's nothing scary about the drawing, but it looks like the word kitty is bleeding with the way the ink runs on the wall. I'm guessing one of the old woman's grandkids might have drawn it. Then we see what looks like a claw burst through the wall, appearing to grab the kitty drawing. This image makes it look like it's bleeding. I love how there's no dialogue or narration. The drawings are allowed to tell the story, and it does a great job. I don't know if you want to call this thing a spirit or a demon, but it looks creepy. Tigger and this thing reach out and touch each other's paw. Then it looks like something awakens inside him, causing him to return to the feral state of his ancestors. This page shows him surrounded by saber-toothed lions, while this page looks like he's losing his sanity. Now for the part I'm sure all of you have been waiting for. His owner, an old woman, calls Tigger to come and play. Tigger, who's gone feral, jumps. We don't see what happens next, but it's suggested that he killed her. Yep, Garfield, the lasagna-loving cat, killed an old woman. And judging by that drawing she was holding, she's somebody's grandma. Even Garfield finds this disturbing, as he is shown to be hiding under a blanket, telling us that what he learned from this life is that there are elements in a cat that shouldn't be toyed with. This story traumatized a lot of kids. Many people have made videos listing their scares from childhood, High-Maytude being among them, and Primal Self often makes the list. On Family Guy, Peter Griffin actually scolded Jim Davis for writing this story. Despite how well known Garfield His 9 Lives is, the book has been out of print for many years. Rumor has it that Primal Self is the reason for that. I'm not sure if it's true, since it is just a rumor, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is. The TV special leaves it out. There's even a newer version of the book, published by Kaboom, that also leaves it out. Primal Self is a scary Garfield story, but is it scarier than Garfield Alone? From October 23rd to the 28th, 1989, Garfield Alone is a storyline from the comic strip. It starts off with Garfield waking up one day with the sensation that he really isn't home. He looks around the house to discover the fact that he is all alone. At first he assumes that John is at the grocery store, until he looks outside to find that the house looks like it had been abandoned for years. This image of Garfield looking at a picture in an abandoned house is pretty unnerving. He hears a noise and finds John and Odie in the next room. That means everything is okay, right? Sadly, no. As Garfield is about to grab the food John offers, John disappears, leaving Garfield to deal with his greatest fear, loneliness. The dialogue box states that Garfield has taken life for granted, and now he is facing the inevitable process of time. His only weapon is denial. After yelling, "I don't want to be alone," John and Odie come back, and Garfield hugs John. Jim Davis has said that he wanted to tell a scary story for Halloween. He thought about the thing people are afraid of the most, being alone. Much like Primal Self, Garfield Alone caused some controversy. Many readers wrote in to complain about it. Some were concerned that it marked a new direction for the strip, one in which horror was the focus. Even a few companies Jim Davis did business with, like Hallmark, called to ask him if this was going to be a new direction. Davis assured everyone that this was just meant to be a one-time thing. Many people have speculated that Garfield is supposed to be a ghost in this story. Some have even argued that the whole strip is just Garfield denying the fact that he is dead. Jim Davis has maintained that it was just meant to be a one-off story where Garfield deals with loneliness. Though as far as I know, he's never confirmed nor denied that Garfield is a ghost, at least in this story. I tend to think of it as Garfield having a nightmare. Now for the million-dollar question. Which is scarier? Both Primal Self and Garfield Alone do a great job at telling a scary story. Jim Davis really does have a gift at scaring his readers. The stories leave a lot of questions unanswered, which I think is a good thing. Horror works best when you don't really know why something is happening. A lot is left to the imagination. I also love how Primal Self never shows Garfield killing the old woman. It just implies it. That makes it scarier than anything we could have seen. I like how Garfield Alone leaves it up to the reader to wonder if Garfield is really dead or just having a bad dream. Although both stories are scary, I tend to think Primal Self is the scarier of the two. The reason? That disturbing ending. We may not have seen what happened, but we know he killed her. Or at the very least, caused a serious injury. Though I tend to think he killed her. With Garfield Alone, you can just say it was a nightmare. With Primal Self, you can't. This was Garfield's past life. This story traumatized Peter Griffin, many kids, even Garfield himself. The fact that this story is possibly the reason why this book is out of print is a testament to how scary it is. You can buy a book that features Garfield Alone, but not Primal Self. At least not a new copy. Yet despite this, the internet has kept this story alive. It has never been forgotten, and most likely, it never will. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.